workforce. Microsoft joins other tech firms that have scaled back their pandemic-era expansions. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Scattered rain showers likely this afternoon, otherwise overcast skies. Highs level off around 44, southwesterly winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Cloudy skies. Tonight, chance of flurries, lows around 29, high of 35 tomorrow. A dusting of snow Saturday night. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently, it's 42.
New trucks and SUVs are here. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. Yes, we've been waiting, and now we have new inventory on our lot for you to see, with more arriving weekly. Plan your next new Chevrolet purchase. Just click on the pre-order tab. You'll see Silverados in 1500, 2500, and 3500. We have Equinoxes and Trailblazers as well. New Chevrolet inventory in stock now at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
Your own home without the maintenance. If you're 55 or better, a beautiful Liberty Village villa could be yours. This is Erin, and I invite you to come take a tour of our move-in ready villa. Click the Liberty Village icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Simply the finest.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Hear Clinton Maroon live play-by-play this season on WHOW, the big 1520 daytime, 92.3 FM in DeWitt County, and 106.5 in Bloomington Normal all the time. Plus, streamed at DeWittDailyNews.com on the WHOW mobile app. Plus, hear a best of Clinton sports broadcast Saturday mornings at 10. All brought to you by Love It Once More Thrift Store. Keith Wade, your country financial representative, and our exclusive sponsor for our Player of the Game, Serve Pro of Hyatt DeWitt Counties, the leader in cleaning, restoration, and construction.
Hey, this is Todd Gleason from Illinois Extension here with a time change for our daily market report on WHOW. You can now catch our daily review of the commodity markets at 5:06 on all of WHOW's many platforms. You'll still hear all of our commodity analysts and weather professionals each afternoon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap-up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
With industry-leading premiums, several delivery windows, and zero-basis contracts, your opportunity to profit with Benson Hill high-protein, non-GMO soybeans has never been better. Some Benson Hill soybean varieties are higher in protein right out of the ground, contributing to more sustainable food manufacturing. The majority of farmers in our program earn more per acre planting Benson Hill soybeans than commodity beans. Lock in your best premium on 2023 contracts while acres are still available. Visit BensonHillFarmers.com to earn more.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Monica Nyman with the St. Louis District Dairy Council, my guest in studio. Good morning, Monica. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Well, thank you for making time for us. It's good to have you back in the studio. And, we turn the page on 2023, or turn the page to 2023. And of course, January comes with lots of health and wellness goals, exercise, eating better, drink, staying away from the sugary drinks and the things we shouldn't have. Of course, we have to have that conversation with you. So let's talk about just nutrition in the new year. What should we be focusing on as we start our goals?
Sure. So, this time of year, I feel like people really focus more on trying to make changes or think about it more. And of course, nutrition and wellness and balance and healthy eating, those are things that we can be doing every single day. But I feel like the January sort of start to the new year is just a good time for people to really think about that. I have seen some interesting statistics about the number of people in February that are still following their New Year's resolution. So hopefully this chat today will just kind of try to keep people on track.
Yeah,
and
rejuvenate them maybe.
Yeah, kind of just give them some newfound, energy as far as sticking with those goals. But, first I just want to start with just some simple tips. And as a registered dietitian, we love to talk about nutrition, and we love to talk about all the different ways that you can make small changes that make a big impact over time. So the first thing that I always share with people is really just try to balance out your foods. We always say the most colorful diet is the healthiest diet. If you think about that, if you have a lot of color on your plate, that means you're getting a lot of fruits and vegetables,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
With protein group, you can find things that have lots of protein grams, but maybe don't have as much fat or calories in them. When it comes to the dairy food group, the dietary guidelines recommends 3 servings a day. That's really milk, cheese, and yogurt. There are lots of other dairy foods out there that are made with milk, but those are the ones that fit into the dairy food group. And then, of course, whole grains. People still love those carbohydrates. And so really just picking the foods within those food groups that are going to give you the most bang for your buck, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
I was trying to come up with a funny joke here this morning as I was coming in, and so you're talking about those whole grains. The beer I drink has the wheat in it. Does that mean that's healthy?
Well, I'm gonna say in moderation, Seth. In moderation.
You can just tell me no. You can just say no, Seth. That's not healthy.
So then the other thing I would just recommend is maybe just use a little common sense when it comes to most people can justify the foods that they're eating, but we all absolutely have room to make improvement most days of the week.
Absolutely,
and so,
for sure.
A couple other things are, watch your portion sizes. And because I'm in the nutrition field and because I worked so long in weight management and diabetes education, we actually had an entire cart full of what we called fake food models, because we use those to show our clients and our patients what the portion size of mashed potatoes was.
Okay.
What the portion size of berries was. And so, just embedded in my brain are the portion sizes. I don't really have to measure things because I spent 10 years looking at those food models in my office and using them every single day. But you would honestly be surprised if you actually started measuring out some of your foods. And you don't have to do it every day. Maybe you take 5 days and say, I'm going to measure out everything according to the portion on the package. And just see what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, and you don't have to eat a lot to feel full, and I've heard, and maybe you've talked about this with, I can't remember, but the faster you eat, you don't feel full right away, so like you're eating really quickly and you think, well, I'm still hungry, so I'm going to keep going, and then you feel bloated and, big.
Full.
And so, and I was going to tell you this, I had a headache last week and I knew I needed to get some protein in me. And so when I have a headache, I just eat really slow, and so I'm eating all this protein stuff, and I'm, I've got like a goal of 40 grams of protein I want to get in my system to get this headache away. And I'm, eating real slow. And I'm like maybe a third of the way there. And I'm like, I'm already feeling full. Like I don't want to eat anymore, so like, it's kind of demonstrative to eat slowly and maybe you don't eat as much, if that makes any sense.
It absolutely does. We actually say it takes about 20 minutes for your brain to recognize that your stomach is full. And so, we'll talk in a little bit about restaurants, but I always think about, we're speedy people. We do everything so quickly, no matter what it is. And, and when you eat that fast, you're not really giving your body a chance to catch up to the fact that you are actually full. And that's why a lot of times people will say, they call it they're stuffed because they overate in that short amount of time. So if that's the one thing that you take from this conversation today that you want to start working on, is slowing down with how long it's taking you to eat, that could actually be very beneficial to you in your overall health and wellness.
It's annoying as can be, but my kids must have this down. Eat really slowly so you don't overeat. You know what I mean?
But you know what? That's because it's embedded in them when they're born. That kids, if you think about it, they actually have that innate ability to eat very slowly. We learn over time as adults and as we age that we have to eat fast. So that's more of kind of like an environmental behavior.
Interesting.
And so kids can actually teach us a lot of things. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Monica Nyman, St. Louis District Dairy Council, is in studio with us here for this morning. So again, simple ideas to help us improve eating habits at home. What did we miss in that part of the conversation?
Sure. So I just wanted to kind of bring up the fact of trying new things. We really definitely get into ruts of the foods that we're eating, the foods that we're purchasing at home. I always, every week, I ask my boys, what should I make for dinner next week? And they always tell me the same exact thing. And it's like, I know their brains are like in this little box and they love their certain foods, but trying new things, maybe adding one new food a week to your grocery list. Or if you take your kids to the grocery store, I have boys, they absolutely hate going to the store. And so I don't have that luxury of having them pick out something. But when they were younger, I remember we would pick out a different fruit or trying a new vegetable. It just gets them excited about it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And yeah, it hopefully encourages them to at least try it, because we know with kids especially, it can take about 15 times for them to actually realize if they like something or not.
Does it really?
So if they're saying no peas, I don't like peas, keep offering that, maybe take a couple bites of that, because they actually don't really know if they like it for quite a while. So.
That is encouraging. That is encouraging, because I get a lot of, no, I don't like this. I don't like this. And I'm just like throwing my hands in the air.
Know.
And, like, that's why I've gone bald, is I'm pulling my hair out with trying to get my kids to eat. But, seriously.
And after a while, their taste buds change just like ours do. I don't know if you can recall any specific foods that you did not like as a kid that your parents used to offer to you. That you actually like now. I know I have several that I can think of.
Well, now you've got me thinking. I'm gonna have to think on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, but at any rate, Monica, let's talk a little bit about you mentioned encouraging kids to eat. How about encouraging our families and just folks out there listening to have more nutrient-rich foods? How about that?
Sure. So we talked about kind of adding a new food every week. I just have a few examples of that. Maybe a different type of lettuce. Different types of beans. If you only serve black beans, you could try garbanzo or red beans or something like that. One of my kids loves black beans. He'll eat them just like almost the whole entire can if I serve them with tacos. Yeah.
Really?
So, just trying different things like that. Low-fat ricotta cheese. Maybe you haven't bought kiwis in a really long time. And those are a really tasty fruit that kids really like. And, just kind of trying to explore some different options. And then I did want to mention kind of keeping an eye on the amount of empty calories that you're getting in. So that's really a good tip across the board, not only for your kids, but also for yourself. And, there's so many drinks out there that give you just empty calories, that they're just sugar. I struggle with that as a parent and a dietitian, because it's like my boys, they love to try all those new sodas, and my husband will go to the gas station and get one for them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's just a bottle of sugar. But I try to find balance with that. So if you're a family that's constantly consuming those kinds of drinks, they're not giving you any nutrition. Maybe that's something you try to cut back on and increase your amount of water, kind of treat yourself. If I have that, then I'm going to drink 2 cups of water after it before I get something different.
For sure. Well, and to your comment earlier, in moderation, like those, those are good reward for a good week of, nutrient-rich meals and colorful meals and things like that. Like, maybe Friday night you have a couple of those drinks or something like that.
Sure. So. And also with the moderation, it's, when you're trying to think of overall health and wellness and even some of these different things that I'm suggesting, you don't have to change everything at one time. That generally doesn't work for people. So whether it's trying to increase your fruits and vegetables, trying to increase your water content, trying to get in your 3 servings of dairy, trying to cut back on your soda, I would maybe just pick 1 or maybe 2 of those at a time to focus on. That way you're not overwhelmed, and you'll start to see some progress, and you'll feel better, hopefully. And then you can work on the rest of those goals in time.
For sure. Monica, still a few minutes yet before we go to break. Anything you want to mention before that?
I just wanted to really talk about kind of getting the most bang for your buck when it comes to calories. Okay. So a lot of people don't pay attention to their food labels. They're on there for a reason. So one thing that I really love that they've changed in the last year is the amount of included added sugar. So you can turn over those soda bottles or the cereal packages or any of those processed type foods, and you can look and see exactly how many grams of sugar have been added to that. And so those are numbers that I always look for. Just in my mind, I try to pick things that are a lot lower in sugar or mix it with something else. That way I'm really reducing the amount of empty calories that I'm getting.
Do you watch added sugars versus just like the natural sugars in a food or whatever it is?
Right. So those are basically two totally different things. So like your fruits are going to have or are going to have natural sugars in them. I always look for added sugars. And so there's a line item on that nutrition label specifically for, basically it's the amount of white sugar they're putting in there.
Oh, okay.
And it can be labeled as all different kinds of things. And people say, oh, well, this one is better than this one. They're all indifferent in the digestion process. They're all exactly the same.
I see.
So in looking at that line item of added sugars is going to be something that can really help you kind of be mindful of those empty calories that you're getting.
Sure. Well, Monica, we've got a lot more to dive into. Where do folks go to learn about all things St. Louis District Dairy Council and specifically healthy eating in 2023?
Sure. So you can take a look at our website. All of the information that I'm talking about today is available on there, which is stldairycouncil.org. And then also follow us on social media. We try to provide some recipes, information about the dairy industry, current events going on kind of in our world. And we are on Facebook and Instagram, and that handle is STL Dairy Council.
That is Monica Nyman with the St. Louis District Dairy Council, our guest in studio. More with her next on The Morning Show.
WHOW.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month. And get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Scott Baum here from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. Search our big selection of pre-owned cars and trucks by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Dr. Bradley Grant here from Midstate Eye in Clinton. Many insurance plans will have benefits that renewed on January 1st. If you've been waiting until the new year, click Midstate Eye icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to make your appointment today.
WHOW, the Big 1520 across central Illinois, 92.3 FM in DeWitt County, and 106.5 FM in McLean County is coming to the Argenta Oriana School District. It's the WHOW School Spotlight, broadcasting live from the Argenta Oriana District Office on Tuesday, January 24th from 9 till 10 in the morning. Listen as we visit with the superintendent and administration, talking about the great things they're doing for students when we bring the WHOW School Spotlight to the Argenta Oriana School District on Tuesday, January 24th from 9 till 10. This WHOW School Spotlight stop is brought to you by William McGee Farms, located at 440 White Pigeon Road in Marora, at WilliamMcGeeFarms.com for more info.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Monica Nyman with the St. Louis District Dairy Council, my guest in studio this morning. Monica, you talked about, we were talking about eating out just briefly there in that first segment and, eating healthy and those sorts of things. Eating healthy and eating out. Is that a thing? Can you do that?
So there are definitely a lot of challenges when it comes to restaurant food. So first, I want to share a couple of tips to maybe prevent going through the drive-through every single night. You really have to plan ahead. So everybody's schedule is totally different. I'll give you a suggestion of what I do with my home life. But if you don't have a plan, you're either mindlessly eating all night, you're going to the drive-through, or you're ending up in a restaurant of some kind for that convenience factor, right? So we'll talk about sort of the disadvantages of that. But planning ahead, I always just take a look 1 week at a time is all my brain can handle of what kind of activities my kids have, who's getting home late, who's going to be home, what night am I going to have time to cook? So I sort of evaluate that every single week. And then I'll typically make, I like to cook only about 3 times a week. And then I'll make enough for extra. So then we'll have sort of a rotation of like leftovers.
For sure.
I'll pop a breakfast meal in there. My kids love scrambled eggs and anything breakfast for supper at night, which is easy and it's quick. And so then we have a whole week's worth of meals when I only have to cook maybe 2 or 3 times. So batch cooking, planning ahead, looking at the calendar, really in order to prevent the mindless eating, the drive-throughs and the restaurants.
Right.
Okay. So you find yourself ending up in restaurants and it's awesome. People cook for you. They do the dishes. I mean, there are lots of advantages to that. One really nice thing when I mentioned the food labels and sort of how they have a lot of information on their restaurants also do provide almost always that nutrition information. So sometimes I'll see it on the menu where it tells you how many calories, you know, and if you're somebody you're like, I don't look at any of those numbers, maybe that's one of the goals that you start changing. You take that one thing and you start evaluating the calories. You're always going to find baked, grilled, broiled, those types of options are at the restaurants. You can get them. You can always order smaller portions. You know, we're in a world where we sort of expect a lot for our money, especially now because prices have, you know, drastically increased in all, you know, forms. So, you know, really just watching how much you're eating. Maybe you split your entree in half and eat the rest of it for lunch or supper the next night. Staying away from fried foods. I love good hot French fries every once in a while. Those are something that I treat myself with. They're in moderation, but they're not every single night. That's totally fine to do that. And then also, the empty calories, the drinks, the lemonades and the sodas. If you can just change one thing of just getting water when you go out to eat, it's probably going to save you quite a bit of money in a month's time, to be honest, and a lot of calories because they typically will refill those every chance they get. So I just think people sometimes don't think about how many calories they're consuming when they do go to a restaurant. So, you know, pick a couple of the things that, you know, maybe you can start working on. Maybe it's not drinking a lot of soda and just switching to water. Maybe it's eating off the kids menu or the lunch portion. Maybe it's splitting your entree in half and taking the rest home or trying to include some of those baked and broiled type things instead of the fried foods. Pick one of those to start working on. And that can definitely save you a lot of calories over time.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe a little money at the same time.
Absolutely.
So, definitely. Well, Monica, anything else on that particular topic, eating out and eating healthy?
So I wanted to just offer a suggestion of, and my kids like to do this. So, you know, we definitely try to follow some type of a budget, and going out to eat is very expensive, especially with a family of 4. And I have teenage boys, so they're not eating off the kids menu anymore. And so if they find something that they like, I'll just hop on Pinterest and see if I can find a mock recipe. There, you'll be surprised how many recipes you can find of restaurant entrees or soups or breads or anything like that. And so I make a really big effort to try to make that recipe at home. It is always going to save you money to do that. And then, of course, I can modify the different types of ingredients too. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, you know, just hop online and see if you can find a recipe for that particular dish to make that restaurant food at home. And they get really excited about that. I mean, they like it. And it just is a way for me to not be going to fast food or to, you know, to restaurants all the time. And I can then again modify that recipe as I see fit. So
do you find yourself like the perfectionist? I don't know if you're a perfectionist or not, but like when it comes to my food, if I don't make it exactly like the restaurant, I'm like, well, this was garbage. I'm never doing it again.
Oh no, I'm much more flexible than that. I mean, we tried to make this Taco Bell. It was the one that had the hard shell with the burritos wrapped around. Well, the burritos I got weren't big enough. I mean, it just was like a total flop. Like it, but it still tasted good. And we said, okay, next time we make this, here's what we should change. I mean, it's probably not going to be perfect the first time, but you just work with those different ingredients. Maybe it's a seasoning, you over season it or didn't put enough in, or you bought the wrong kind of shell, you know? So just be a little patient with yourself, Seth. Come on.
All right. Sorry about that. All right, Monica, let's quickly just just we got less than a minute. Highlight getting into a physical fitness routine or just activity, just taking up activity.
Okay, so your food, your calories, very, very important because you can eat a lot of food and it's going to take a lot of exercise to burn some of those calories off. So my suggestions for exercise, make it fun. Find a buddy. It's a lot easier to have accountability, to have somebody to go with. Find something that you really enjoy doing. And so whether that's a gym membership, online videos in the privacy of your own home, maybe you're going to create a little workout space in your basement because it takes a lot less time to walk down the stairs to work out.
Sure.
But really just trying to make that part of your lifestyle. Don't think of it as a chore. Finding things that you like will make you feel better. It helps combat stress and those extra calories.
Monica, always good to see you. Thanks for coming out. Monica Nyman, St. Louis District Dairy Council. Network News is now.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The federal government